blind, why would you like to take picture? Because a lot of people ask me that question,
Yeah, they
like,
say
why
probably
you want to
something
travel?
ignorant,
You
right?
can't see. You want to travel
Yeah.
for what? I said to see scenery. You can't see what. The lift has braille, but it does not have voiceover. So they won't announce the floor. So how do I know it's 6th floor? I smell.
Huh? Smell?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Okay, yeah. Just a curiosity lah. So what does level 6 smell like?
What does level 6 smell like? On a good day, it will be coffee. But I don't know lah.
But how do you
because
tell the difference? I mean, every day could be a different smell. So how do you know which day is?
Because
used to
usually
it.
the other floors,
Used to
when
it.
you open it, it's all like what you call smells of books, and it's like college student.
Smells of
Oh,
college student. College students,
see,
you
college
smell
students.
a certain way. Now we know.
You all haven't been showering, right?
This podcast is brought to you by SPMflix.
And powered by BC Education.
So Sam, did you know that there's actually 1 out of 6 people worldwide that have disability?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, and in the year of 2024, the world population stands at 8.1 billion people. So that means in the massive global population, there's 1.3 billion people that have a disability. Could be whether it's hearing or vision or even just mobility and stuff like that.
Or like learning
Yes,
disability, right?
correct. Yeah.
To add on to that, do you know that in Malaysia, the statistic is actually 1.6% only. So it's approximately 500,000 people. And then this is within the population of 33 million. There's a lot of people in Malaysia, 33 million. Yeah.
Correct. And both physical and learning disabilities are actually more common than people realize. Not just within Malaysia but around the world. So there are people that are unaware of the risk and challenges and experience that disability people actually go through.
So we would like to touch on these topics and spread some awareness. So without further ado, our guest has been remained mysterious all this time, listening to us talking about the statistics. So we would like to unveil her. Please welcome Miss Amanda to the For Real podcast.
Hi, Miss
Welcome,
Amanda.
Miss Amanda.
Yep. So Miss Amanda, can you please explain to us your experience as a person who have disability, or please explain also what do you have so that our audience can have an idea.
So, thank you for inviting me to the show. I was born with a congenital glaucoma that actually resulted in blindness. So, at a young age, I actually have a little bit of vision, and it started deteriorating when I was around 4 or 5 years old. So, actually, I'm able to see, so I'm able to imagine things, I would say, like how things look like, how colors look like how does red look like, how does white look like, or how does the sun look like. Yeah, so I would say that I'm fairly like normal until I am 4 or 5 years old, and when my vision started deteriorating, I became blind, but I slowly adapt. And my parents actually are very supportive because they decided to enroll me in an inclusive or integrated program rather than enrolling me in a blind school, because they want me to socialize and mix with society, so that in Malaysia actually there is a certain stigma against persons with disability. Like you mentioned earlier, the statistics, a lot of people are really unaware of the risks and challenges.
Yeah, we didn't know it's like 1 in 6 in the world,
Yeah, because people are not exposed to interacting with a person with disabilities, also said, hence the lack of awareness. So my parents actually enrolled me in an integrated program where I get to socialize with people who are non-disabled, and that gave me a certain level of understanding into how society's stigma works against a person with disability, how we are actually perceived. And I actually decided to take up law as part of my tertiary education, because I realized the lack of accessibility and also the challenges that a person with disability faced in Malaysia, and there are lack of advocates for persons with disability. So after I finished my SPM, I called up multiple colleges to inquire whether I can pursue a degree or pre-university pathway prior to a degree. And most of the responses that I got is that they said, "Are you sure you want to study law? Because you are blind." We never heard of a blind student who want to study law.
This was in what year?
This was in 2011 after I finished my
So back then there
SPM.
was no one that was blind that has done law?
Actually, there is in public universities, but for me, actually, I want to try something different. I wanted to pursue a pathway where I would be able to go abroad to pursue my education, and the only way I can do that is enrolling in a college that actually offers a pathway to a UK university. So, but I was fortunate because when I call out a BAC, so they said that we already have a blind student who enrolled with us, so you are able to come and study with us. There's no problem. We will provide the resources for you.
Oh, that's nice. Like, thank you for telling us about that. You also did your CLP here, right? After your LLB?
Yes, so I finished my A levels and then I did my LLB at the University of Liverpool. I did the UK transfer degree program. I did a CLP and then I go into chambering at a law firm, Screen and Company. And after that, I was admitted and enrolled as an advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaya in 2019, but I never practiced.
Oh, I see. Are you not into practicing?
I am a qualified lawyer, but I'm not practicing. I'm currently actually with the Make It Right movement, which is the CSR or Corporate Social Responsibility arm of BAC Education, where we actually do a lot of community service projects. And the biggest thing that we do is actually my passion, which is advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion of persons with disabilities.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, MRM is a organization within BAC Education. So Miss Amanda is one of our colleagues as well. So that's amazing to hear. Can we just backtrack a little bit? You mentioned that your parents placed you in an inclusive program, right? So how was it when you were a teenager? What was exactly that? Was there anything that you what were the pros and cons per se during those times, if you can recall any one or two memories that's stuck out to you?
I would say the inclusive program has its challenges as well. The first challenge is that the lack of resources. Because back in the days when I study, actually, blind students still rely on Braille. And to produce materials in Braille actually takes a lot of time. And by the time a particular resource is already produced, it's already obsolete. So for example, if I'm sitting for my SPM in 2011, I will only get the 2009 or 2010 textbook. I won't get the 2011 textbook because it won't be ready in time. So a lot of it has to be my own work, where I have to prepare the materials myself with the support and help from my parents. And the second one would be the lack of understanding from teachers as well, because a lot of teachers are really not used to dealing with a student with disability, so they may feel a little bit weary. And when we as a student with disability, particularly the blind students, we use something called a brailler, which is akin to a typewriter in class to take
it's
notes.
Braille lah.
Yes.
So you can feel it with your fingers, right?
And that typewriter is quite noisy. So whenever I'm in the class, the teacher will say, "Can you stop taking notes until the other students finish?" I said, "I can't do that. Otherwise, I will be left behind from the lesson." So we have to work out a way to see how I can lower down the volume of that typewriter. And what I do is usually I put layers of newspaper underneath it so that to cushion the sound. And that is one of the accommodation. That is one accommodation that was made because I realized that in order for a student with disability to actually blend in, we have to adapt ourselves to the environment, because mostly person with disability in Malaysia is disabled not because of their disability. They are disabled by the environment.
That's a powerful statement.
It's a very powerful statement.
Yeah, actually, because a lot of places there's no like access. Like if someone is physically not mobile, then they're like, "Oh, sorry, no lift. There's only staircase." So actually, that limits them. They can't travel to some places. That's actually true.
Yeah, even like for transportation and stuff like that. I mean, there are like for example, areas set for disability, but I don't think it's that easy for them to.
It's not everywhere.
It's not everywhere. So I think that is something that people should start taking into consideration.
In this sense, do you think anything needs to be upgraded, Miss Amanda?
Now, I would say that as a blind person myself, the most people will say that Brickfields is the most blind friendly area, and a lot of blind people eat Brickfields. Okay,
I
people
actually
said
never
that,
really thought that.
but actually not really because
Okay,
the,
this is
so it's not.
correct lah.
even the tactiles there are mostly broken. So you know the
Ah.
tactile where blind person actually follows to walk to a particular place.
Right, yeah.
It's like
Mm.
That's where
broken
they
in
use
some
the stick,
places,
right?
and we won't really know where to go. So as a blind person myself, even I myself is a bit wary when walking in brick fields. I rather like take e-hailing transport like Grab to be like
Mhm.
to
safer.
reach your
Yeah.
destination
And
immediately.
even if you're talking about accessibility to public transport like trains, right?
Mm.
If the stop is a direct stop, for example, where we need to go to like a 4 or 5 stations or away, and then it's a direct stop, there's no problem for me. But if let's say we need to like interchange like from
Right.
MRT to LRT, that presents a challenge because of the crowd, number one. And then
Right.
the second one is that you need people to actually guide you because you're not familiar
Oh,
with the terrain
I have
itself.
can I ask you a question? I'm
Yeah,
just
sure.
out of curiosity because we've seen blind people
Yeah.
that like in public and all. As someone that's blind, do you prefer is if someone come up to you and just help you, or do you prefer is there a certain etiquette that they should do
Yeah.
before if they want to offer you to help, or do you prefer no one just approach you and you can handle it yourself?
It's interesting that you ask this question because I can give you like a different answers to that question.
Oh,
Number one
okay.
is that because in Malaysia, like I say, there's a social stigma against person with disability. So
Okay.
most people, when they want to help a person with disability, they tend to assume and they don't ask. So what I mean by assume is that they assume that the
Oh.
particular person need help, but they do not ask whether the particular person need help or not, or how he or she can help that particular person. And when the assumption arises and you help that person your own way, they may feel a bit wary. Like for example, I have a friend who actually came up to me and said that, like I came across a blind person trying to cross the road. So I tried to help him, but actually he whacked me with his walking stick.
Oh
So
God.
I said, what happened? Oh no,
God.
I'm just trying to help him to cross the road. So I said,
Right.
how did you approach him? No, I just pulled his stick lah because he's crossing the
you?
road.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I said, no, you should ask that person
Yeah.
how you should help him. Whether he needs
Was he
help or
trying to
not.
direct by
Yeah,
grabbing the
yeah,
stick?
exactly.
That is the worst way ever to help a
Right.
particular blind
Okay,
person.
guys, learn. Do not pull the stick.
No.
Please don't
For,
do that.
Yeah.
for your
Don't
reference,
Always
if you want
ask
to,
permission first, guys.
Yeah, don't just simply pull people's stick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
You should offer your elbow if you want to guide a
Ah.
blind
So,
person.
Can I just summarize then? If I see someone who's blind, who looks like they need help, assuming first, but before assuming, instead of doing anything, should I approach them and be like, "Hi, do you need help?" I ask first. If they say yes, then I offer my elbow.
Yes, or you can just ask them, how can I help you? Because some people may like prefer to be helped in a different way.
Right.
Otherwise, if they say they won't need help, then it's all right. But the sad thing in Malaysia is that the people are generally like kind-hearted. They really want to help, but they do not know
That's a
How
sad
to
thing.
help?
to
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it's a good thing.
because people are stressed out.
Like they don't
when
know
they
how to
see a
help
person with disability, you know what are they stressed out about? They do not really know what is the politically correct term to use when they want to talk to a person with disability.
I
So
think
usually
they're
whenever
soft-hearted
yeah,
They scared they
yeah.
offend people.
Like
whenever
terasa
they
like,
show a person
Malaysians,
with disability, they
be
will
soft,
say that
bro.
they will say that can I call you disabled? Can I call you like
Are you-
differently able? So I feel
Yeah,
like a term is just a
right.
term at the end of the day. You don't need to stress yourself out. It makes no difference because calling me disabled or calling me differently able does not make me more able.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So, you mentioned that you studied here in BAC, and how did you study? That's what I'm curious of, because I know people. Traditionally they use braille. They read braille books. So braille is when it's like a popped up text on a book, and you touch it with your fingers, so your fingertips are very sensitive, and that's how you read. So this is how you read the alphabets, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure that now with technology, and it's 2024, I'm talking about like 1990s, is this how people usually study, right? So how did technology help you? Did it assist you in any way? Did it make a difference in your everyday life? Do you use a phone? Do you use a laptop? Like, can you enlighten us with all these questions that we have?
Well, definitely, because I would say that technology helps a lot because a lot of things are in soft copies or ebooks now, so it makes things easier.
Right.
So, like you said, braille is actually like dots on paper, printed on paper,
Yeah,
and it can
that's
be
what I
very
understand.
thick. very heavy.
Yeah.
And for a law student, the worst thing that you can have
Yes.
is braille books because it is
Yeah, the normal book
very
is
Yeah,
also
just
heavy.
imagine like this big.
Yeah. Oh god.
Of course, I think
Never
BC
thought about
lecturers
it.
will remember me like lugging a whole bag of
Aiyo.
books to class. That time I got free gym. I don't need to go gym also. It's like weightlifting
Wow.
because the books are very heavy. So with technology,
Flipping the
just,
page also like ugh.
no, flipping the page is okay, but it's just carrying because
by the time
for
you reach
you
the
one
next
volume
chapter,
will
you
be
already like,
10 volumes in braille.
Wow.
Give you an idea.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
So can you give us like
Like an example of
how tech?
yeah,
What
how
do you use in
how
daily
tech
life?
has
How did
changed.
it help you out? Because
So
we
it's-
don't know. For us, it's
Yeah.
just like tablet, laptop, phone. There's how the usual the five
Yeah.
1 out of 6
I
people,
think the
right?
best example is like how would you use your phone
Mm.
compared to like
Us.
for us we
Yeah.
use it normally, but like for a person who is blind or
Yeah.
disabled, how would they use a phone?
If
Yeah.
you can describe
Yeah.
it to us.
Interesting they said you are using your phone normally. Well, we also use it in our
Yeah,
normal way.
correct. Sorry, my bad, my bad.
Joshua!
my bad.
It's
Please
alright.
tell us
Yeah,
your
yeah.
way then.
No,
Yeah,
okay, the
your way.
normal way that
Yeah.
disabled person uses his or her phone. Well, it's actually the feature is actually in your phone itself. It's just that you
Correct.
don't realize it. If you go to your
Mm.
settings and you go to accessibility,
Mm.
there's something called, if you're using a phone with iOS software, it's called voiceover. If you're using an Android phone, it's called talkback. And this is a software that actually converts text to speech. So whenever that feature is on, so anything on your phone screen will be automatically read out to you by the
Mhm.
phone. So like you can go on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media apps. You can text, you can make calls, you can write emails,
Mhm.
and you can even read books and watch movies as well. Because like nowadays, movies, especially those like in Netflix, some of the movies comes with a feature called AD or audio description, where they actually describe to you what is enacted in that particular movie. So yeah, blind person have a life now, I would say, with technology.
Wow. But actually, that's quite interesting. I want to know more about that. I find it quite interesting that this. How does it work? Like people, okay, so you're watching a movie, then there's this audio description that goes over the audio of the actual movie,
Do you
or
hear the audio of
yeah.
the movie, or do you hear the audio of the person describing the movie?
It is like simultaneously. So for example, the movie is showing two people walking. So it's like two men walking, and then when they're talking, they will show the people who are talking. But when they are doing some action in the background, it's like he turns to the right or he turns to the left. He's looking at the person next to him. Yeah.
So it's
But
more
the
description.
what do you call, the shortcoming of audio description is that they do not really provide a full description, for example, of a particular person. When we watch a movie, usually my friends say, hey, that actor or actress quite good looking or quite pretty. So I said, how do you mean pretty? Because audio description will describe it as a blonde woman. It's just that,
With
so
two eye,
like
one
they
nose and
didn't
one mouth.
say how she or he looks like. So what's the definition of pretty?
Correct.
Yeah, it's very obscure.
Right, that's true also. But then it's up to your imagination.
Yes.
It's up to everyone's imagination. So, moving on from that, but still in the topic of technology, right? So, what do you think about the industry professionals? What do you think? Do you think companies, organizations, are they actually creating opportunities for people with disabilities, or do you think we're still a long way to go from actually achieving equality in a certain sense?
I would say that we are still a long way to go, but actually I wouldn't say that we should look at equality, because equality is basically ensuring that everyone gets the same treatment, the same needs. But how can you actually provide that particular same needs to that particular person where he or she have that a particular disability? Because definitely it needs to be catered to their needs. So I would say that not equality, but we have to aim for equity. Equity is basically knowing and understanding the needs of the particular person and provide the service in a way that he or she is able to participate equally with other people in what you call in aspects of life. Like for example, how do you actually make cinemas more blind friendly? Well, you provide an audio description segment to the movie where what you call people who are blind will be able to enjoy movies. How do you actually make a building more accessible to a person who is blind? Of course, you provide like voiceovers and braille in lifts. This is what we call equity, and I will say that for Malaysia, there people has improved now compared to before, but there's still a lot of awareness needed because the lack of awareness is very prominent. I would say that I discovered this when I first finished chambering and I was applying for jobs. So usually when I apply for a particular position to be an associate in a law firm, so when I go for the interview, people would actually ask questions that I find ignorant, because I don't blame them, because they are really not aware of
Can you
the
give me
needs of
one
a person with
example,
disability.
please?
Yeah. So I went to this interview and the person actually asked me this question: how do you do your law exams? Do you get the same question question paper as other people? Yeah.
Okay.
So because they are not really aware of how
see.
can a person with disability study, and because of this lack of awareness, this leads to what I would like to call it the cost factor. The cost factor is where companies would think that if I can hire an able-bodied person to do a particular task, why would I need to hire a disabled person? Maybe he or she is less productive. They have that
Right.
thought because, like I said, they assume.
Right.
So yeah, with that, I think what are your expectations or hopes for disabled people in Malaysia?
Persons with disability actually, sadly, in Malaysia, because of the way society perceives them and because of their social stigma, and also I would say that I am very fortunate because my parents is very supportive.
Right.
There are persons with disability with less supportive parents.
Yeah.
Because what happened is that, to give you a little bit of context, like you mentioned the statistics of persons with disability. The statistics that you actually mentioned are the persons with disability who are registered in Malaysia. Well, in Malaysia, the law does not make it mandatory for a person with disability to register. So there's a lot of persons with disability who are unregistered and people do not really know about them. And when people do not know, so they do not know where to provide the support. And parents with a particular child with disability, some of them are less comfortable bringing their children out because, like in Malaysia, what society usually do when they see children who is disabled, particularly
Probably
those with
avoid
physical disability, not really avoid, staring. And
Ah.
when people stare, the parents feel awkward, so they tend to keep their children at home. And when the children are at home, so they tend to be stuck in their own comfort zone. And for a person with disability in Malaysia, most of them are reluctant to move out of their comfort zone to explore broader horizons. Like, for example, I talked to some blind persons who are still like reluctant to use a smartphone and go into technology because of the fear. They do not know what is out there and they're used to their comfort zone. So my advice to them is, as a person with disability, if you have a particular goal, the first thing you should do is move out of your comfort zone. And the second one is that if you really have a goal, never say you can't do it. You wouldn't say that I can do it, because I said there is the accessibility challenges as well. Taking it, taking this in mind, you don't say no first. You said maybe I can do this, and from that maybe you work towards I can do it. Like for me, I want to pursue a degree in law, so I decided to do it. And a lot of things they say you can't do it, but then I can do it. I'm actually the first blind student who took the CLP back in my year, and I'm the first blind woman lawyer who actually decided to go into practice and did chambering.
Congratulations.
So yeah,
You
never
did-
say never.
You did well.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, like, we're a celebrity now.
No lah.
No.
Well, we have
still a
the-
long way to go.
Yeah,
We have two firsts here.
Two firsts, yeah,
CLP.
correct.
blind student,
That's true.
first
That's true.
Lawyer.
Yeah, but I think I just want to touch a bit on that topic. So I feel like it's also quite important that your how to say, the people that are giving support, because I feel like if you don't have people that are supporting you or trying to help you to go through your daily life and stuff like that, how to overcome your challenges. I feel that's very hard as a person who has a disability. So
It
like
can
maybe
be.
is there a way, like for example, let's say if you don't have that support, is there a way that you can go somewhere else, or who do you find to get this support?
Well, there are a lot of organizations focused on the persons with disability in Malaysia. But sadly, I would say that some of the organizations do a good work because they really support persons with disability. But other disability organizations are very abstract because guess what? A disabled organization, it should be headed by a person with disability because they understand the needs. They know what is lacking in the system. But most of the persons who actually lead these organizations are persons who are not disabled. And when they make decisions, they do not really consult with a person with disability, so say, and that is lacking and actually needs to be improved along the way. But I would say that in general, society's perception towards persons with disability needs to shift up. We need to focus more on empathy rather than sympathy. So sympathy is basically what the most of us in Malaysia, most of the people in Malaysia are practicing, which is oh, I saw a disabled person, I need to help him or her. But this is a short-term thing. Empathy is basically put yourself in the shoes of a person who is disabled. How can you actually empower them, or how can you actually help them so that they can sustain themselves, or they are able to do something independently by themselves in the long run? So that is like empathy, and society should actually move towards that instead of focusing on like short term. I help that person with disability today, so you've used of his or her problem today, so how can he or she survive and thrive like tomorrow? So empathy, not sympathy.
Yeah. I feel like we discussed today a lot of interesting factors and also segments to cover on the topic of disability and how we can turn it, flipping it to ability. Like how Miss Amanda has shed some light into the social stigma that she herself went through, and generally what society has, and also the lack of resources, and what people can improve on more lah. Whether it be you as a common citizen walking and you see a blind person, don't assume, and instead offer, ask questions and help. So that's definitely a learning point that we can all take notes from
Time
this
to flip
video.
the script.
Yeah, that's right. She likes the flip the script. She seems to like the props to our writer. She likes that, and also corporations, how they should take into consideration that it's not about equality, like what she said. It's about equity. Yeah, how you should be able to sustain. How can you change, and what small changes or even big changes that you can do in your organization to be inclusive. We're not asking you to change for the big thing, a big change, for example, but more to how do you be inclusive and give opportunities to others.
Yeah, when you take the time to understand it, actually, I'll just add this quickly. When you take the time to understand it for corporations, you will realize that the changes that you make actually are minimal and the costs are minimal, because a person with disability is fairly independent himself or herself. And
I
to
think a lot of
transition
people
to
don't know
employment,
that.
of course, they do not know that.
Right. Thank you so much for your input, Miss Amanda, today. I
thank
feel
you,
like
Miss.
I did hear and learn a lot of new things that
I
I can
definitely
adapt
learned a
to.
lot lah. And now I know
Joshua learned a lot lah.
I must go and
Apply it.
ask permission, before
ask
helping. And then also
Yes.
I mean,
So before we end this, we want to do a lighter note lah. It's all been heavy corporation, we're not attacking anyone, we're spreading awareness. Before we end this, true. we want to know, we want to do it on a lighter. Now let's focus more on like something fun. So like Miss Amanda, can you tell us what do you do on the weekend, since you work Monday to Friday here in MIRM and in BAC? What do you do on the weekend?
What I do on the weekend, I usually do what you call blind people won't do. Like I travel, I take pictures, So my social media account does not look like a blind person's social media account because you can see pictures.
Can
Okay,
we
wait.
put up her
Yeah,
social
Can we
media
put the
account?
social-
Can we
No,
put her
but Miss Amanda,
Instagram or Instagram?
actually,
Instagram,
Oh,
Facebook.
let's have a look at her Instagram.
but Miss Amanda, I'm actually quite curious. How do you take pictures as a blind person?
Yeah, because how do you know
Yeah.
what you're
Well,
aiming at?
the technology, the phone is very modern now because
Mhm.
they will tell you where to position your camera, whether it's centered or not. Of course, it's not a perfect picture, but it's still a picture.
Oh, so this is with the voice over, like you were
Yes.
mentioning.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
description.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
I
Wait,
did my own pictures. I posted my own reels. Not
Mhm.
perfect
Oh.
reels lah, but then okay lah.
well, it
Okay,
showcases what you
yeah,
do, right?
exactly.
Compared
Yeah.
to
I
like
find
maybe
it very
someone.
interesting. Like I
Right.
never knew like you could do that.
That's why I do the
Yeah.
things that most blind people don't do. I go hiking also with my friends.
Wow.
Wouldn't people? I assume people will be like, how do you go hike? Isn't it dangerous,
Yeah.
etc.
I mean,
You
you'll
need
go
to
with
have
a guide
friends
lah.
who are
not
really
alone
like
lah.
help
Okay
to
lah.
guide me lah. They need to
Understand.
know like how to explain the terrain
Oh,
to me.
okay. So
for
for
example.
information, we have
Yeah.
Miss Amanda's Instagram.
Yeah,
So
on
let's
the
take a
screen
look
right
at
now.
the not so normal. Oh, look at that
Hey,
picture.
not bad lah, Miss Amanda. Actually,
Yeah. Where did you travel to? Uluwatu. Isn't that
I did.
Indonesia?
I went
I
to
think
a
Bali.
lot of places.
Bali.
Bali, yeah.
Damn.
For my birthday, this one.
Oh, happy
Oh,
belated
wow.
birthday.
It is in June.
Oh.
So and I actually have a
So cool.
That picture is
Yeah.
not
yeah, I actually have a hashtag that I usually use.
Oh, wow.
It's purely for the view.
Oh,
So basically,
yeah.
it's a play on words
Ah.
lah. Because you are blind, why would you like to take picture? Because a lot of people ask me that question. You know,
yeah, they
like,
say
why
probably
you want to
something
travel?
ignorant,
You
right?
can't see. You want to travel
Yeah.
for what? I said to see scenery. You can't see what.
Oh.
Purely for the view. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not for me.
I mean,
Nice.
I understand to a certain extent.
Mhm.
If you're blind, your other senses are heightened. You know, you can
Mhm.
hear in a way that you can hear things, you can
Mhm.
smell, you can
Mhm.
touch. That's how you experience the
Yes.
traveling as well. It's not just
Correct.
seeing the
Like you
beauty
say lah,
of
there
it.
are
I
other
use it
senses.
here as
Right.
well, okay, for your information. Because
Mhm.
like for our building here, the
Mhm.
lift has braille, but it does not have voiceover. So they won't
Ah.
announce the floor. So how do I
Right.
know it's sixth floor?
Yeah.
I smell.
Huh? Smell?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Whoa.
my god,
every
that's
floor
true.
has
It doesn't
different
say
smell.
sixth floor.
Yeah, I know. I
No,
just
it
like
doesn't.
it's just only registering
It just
in my mind.
registered.
No, I was
How would you
thinking
know?
now that they installed all the music. Why would you put music
Yeah.
instead of voiceover?
Oh my god, that is interesting.
Wait, okay,
I've never-
yeah. Just a curiosity lah. So what does level 6 smell like?
What does level 6 smell like? On a
Uh,
good day, it would be coffee.
Oh.
On a good day, it would be like the normal office smell, like papers. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But on a bad day, it may be paint because someone is
Ah.
painting.
Suddenly,
So
or-
you would know. But I
But-
would know lah.
But how
because
do you
I've
tell the
used-
difference? I mean, every day could be a different smell. So how do you know which day is?
Because
used to
usually
it.
the other floors,
Used to
when
it.
you open
Uh-huh.
it, it's all like what do you call smells of books, and it's like college student.
Smells of
walking
college
around.
students. College
Ah,
students.
see,
You
walking
smell a
around.
certain way. Now we know.
You all haven't been showering, right?
No, they bring Zeus coffee. Then you know
Ah,
this is
yeah,
not
Zeus
our.
coffee.
This is college students. This are not our
True,
colleagues.
true. It's difficult to explain it because I got persons asking me funny questions also, because
Like us.
at one time I went for a meeting
Huh.
and I was sitting with this person. So I said like, okay, since you can't see, right, how do you tell whether your colleagues or your boss is in the room with you? Do you smell them?
Oh.
So like, no, I just know lah because I'm sensitive. But I don't need to
Yeah.
smell them to know.
Maybe another small, because your answers are all very unique, right?
Yeah.
So if you win the lottery today, right, what would you do?
Oh, that's a tough question. What would
It's
I
tough for
do?
me also. I
I
need time
still know
to
what I
think.
do.
I really need time to think lah. But probably maybe use it for more advocacy work lah, for disabled persons. And also give some for
This one
traveling.
textbook answer,
Yeah,
right?
this one.
Because on
This one
camera,
textbook
right?
answer. But then I would like to travel also lah. Yeah, purely for the view.
Ah,
Oh.
okay,
Hashtag purely for the view.
Yeah. I have to add another hashtag lah. Blind girl travels.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
well,
that'd be
that sounds nice. Blind girl travels or Amanda.
No, not Amanda. Amanda
don't want
won't
to
catch
disclose.
the attention of people because like
Ah.
blind
Yeah.
people usually won't travel, right? So
Yeah.
blind girl adventure or travel. I have to think about it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
nice
for the
Miss,
inspiration.
I think Miss Amanda can become the next media, influencer,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You've been. We
It's
saw
already
we disclose your Instagram already,
Yeah.
right? So we saw your Bali pictures. Which other country have you traveled to?
I've been in UK when I did my degree, and but not really like a lot of countries because I need to find a travel companion. And usually, the person that I drag along to travel with me is my mom. And
Ah.
one interesting fact is that she's more scared than me when they go travel. So what I'll do, I will book everything before I tell her.
Wow,
I
Oh.
say like,
yeah,
yeah. Then
Oh,
she will
that's
say, I will say that
interesting.
let's go. Then she said, no, but what if this happened? What if this happened? I said like, why are you
All
scared?
parents like
I'm
that.
here. So I said, yeah, you're here, but
I'm
you're
here.
blind.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I'm blind, but you're sighted. So let's go.
You can help each other lah.
Yeah.
One blind,
True.
one scared, but together is strong. Can overcome anything.
That's how you flip the script, people.
I told you she likes that
Yeah.
title.
You use the title, so to make it stick, have to keep on mentioning it.
Oh, thank you so
Nice,
much.
nice.
Thank you.
Is there any place that you're looking forward to go to in the future?
I don't know. I'm just go on a whim whenever like I see like this place is interesting, so I will plan lah. And it needs a lot of research also
Yeah
because
lor.
need to see whether that place is accessible,
Right.
and then need to see how can I get accessible accommodations and all that. So
Understand.
it's a
understand.
planning process.
Right. Miss Amanda, since we are about to end the show, do you have any advice to those that are watching our audience? For those that have disability or those who maybe know someone who have disability, any advice to them on how to go about it?
Yeah, my advice would be a summary, 3 key points with basically a summary of what we discussed. Number 1, is practice empathy, not
Okay.
sympathy. The second one is that ask and don't assume.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is that look at a person's ability rather than his disability, because like I said, people with disability are actually disabled by the environment and people's attitudes and not
Correct.
by their disability.
She's spitting facts.
I know. It's too much facts.
A lawyer, sorry.
No wonder lah.
No problem.
With that, we will end our show. Thank you to all our audience that are watching us. Thank you for joining us here. And Miss Amanda, thank you for joining us for our show.
Thanks for inviting
Yes.
me. Interesting conversation.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
we
Yeah,
appreciate
I
a
learned
lot.
a lot. I'm
Same.
pretty sure the audience also learned a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's really great that you shared your insights on the living with disabilities and how to go about it. So with that, just want to tell the audience, don't forget to follow our page at SPMflix. Make sure you like, comment, share this to all your friends, or maybe share this to someone who is dealing with someone that has a disability, so they are aware. Because at the end of the day, this is about getting awareness about this topic.
And nowadays, the companies, schools, environment, it is changing. Like what Miss Amanda said, we probably have a long way to go. Actually, every country has a long way to go. They're not the most inclusive of people, and one of every 6 people in the world has a disability, a certain form of disability. So we should be looking into how you can be inclusive. Maybe the first step is actually be aware, and this video can be your very first step, which is you are more aware. Yes.
True.
Thank you, Miss Amanda. Everything. Usually we have our guests join us when we do the closing.
Yes.
So in the beginning we said this has been for real. So can you just join us when we say that later?
Glad.
Okay.
Alright.
So everything that we've said and shared and discussed today, everything has always been
For
real.
Thank
Bye
you,
guys.
guys.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.